This week on the Full-Time Flippers Reselling Podcast.
Way back in the day when I was just starting, this was horrible. Do not do this. I got some bad feedback for it. Took one of those priority boxes, 8x8x8, and I put a big giant tailor-made driver head in that. I had the stick, the shaft just hanging out. I just took a pool noodle and just rammed a pool noodle down, taped it up, sent it out. They were appalled. They were like, the worst did it get there safely? It did, but they were pissed. They're like, never again.
Hi, I'm Chad the Quirky Picker. I'm a full-time reseller from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Hi everyone, I'm Denis the Free King Flipper. I'm a full-time reseller from Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Join us each week as we discuss life as a full-time reseller. We will share our experiences, both the good and the not so good.
Learn from our expertise and our mistakes.
From sourcing to listing to shipping,
Customer interactions, we will cover it all.
this is the Full-Time Flippers
Reselling Podcast.
Welcome to the Full-Time Flippers Reselling Podcast. I am Chad the Quirky Picker, and I'm here with my co-host.
Denis the Free King Flipper.
Hey, Dennis, nice shirt.
Thank you.
You just have one? Is that a one of a kind?
This is it. It was a one-off.
Ooh,
I
you
should have
autograph
ordered
it?
more. I could just give it up.
You know, once you're rich and famous.
It'll be priceless.
We do this podcast every Friday. We are full-time resellers. We make our money reselling, not on YouTube. We're not content creators other than this podcast. And we just make this podcast because we love talking about full-time reselling. Speaking of full-time reselling, Dennis, how was your reselling week?
I mean, I'll clean it up. It sucked.
Hmm.
It absolutely sucked. The yard sales. Remember, I was so psyched last week.
Right.
It rained, and then
Oh.
so I think I went to 2. They moved everything into the garage, but it was misting rain. So people just started shutting their doors, and that was it. So I drove around for maybe a half an hour and realized it's not going to happen today. And then Sunday was slow. Monday was slow. Tuesday was real slow. Wednesday was a little bit better. And then Thursday I had 2 really good sales, and I'll talk about one of them for my my home run. And I just barely skidded into the finish line and made my quota, but no extra, 0. So luckily I had some money because I didn't spend any at the yard sales.
Mm-hmm.
So we're back at it again, and we're recording now on a Friday. So I'm looking ahead, and I have 8 different yard sales lined up for tomorrow. Weather looks good. No rain in the forecast. So I just need one of those amazing days where you just fill your truck up with stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. You do that almost every week.
Well, yeah, almost every week. Not quite every week, but today there was 6 yard sales that I had on my list. And I went to an estate sale first. It was about 4 miles from my house. And it was the estate of a man who recently passed away at the age of 104.
Wow.
His house it looked like the 1970s. The
Awesome.
kitchen cabinets were still 1970, maybe original. I think the house was built in 1964, and it may not have been renovated the entire time he lived there. He had this really cool vintage couch. It was blue, so I wasn't interested in it. But if it would have been orange, I think I would have bought it. I took a picture, sent it to my wife. But 1970s, or 60s, they look kind of almost MCM couches.
Yeah.
That's and then he had a dresser in the bedroom that had to be 150 years old, and it was awesome. It just did not match any of my decor in my house. And I'm like, I don't flip furniture. I had my car. I couldn't even put it in my car. I'd had to come back later, but I was half tempted to buy that thing just because it had rounded pillars on the corners. I did take a picture of it. I should have had the pictures ready. I should show off more pictures of the things I see. But I bought a few things at his estate sale. I bought a vise, a big.
Ooh, nice.
I have a picture of it. So I bought this vise. I paid $20. Hello.
I'm just gonna let that go to voicemail.
So I bought this vise for $20. I didn't even look it up. I'm like, it has to be worth more than $20. It's one of those big heavy ones. It opens up like this, I think 6 inches. But I listed it for $249, and there's only one sold in the last 3 years, and there's currently none on eBay. The one that sold was $150 plus shipping, and I got an offer already for $150 plus shipping on this vise. But I'm holding out for maybe a $200 offer, or I might counter offer. I haven't done a counter offer yet. I just kind of want to wait and see if I get any more offers today, because you have 24 hours to, reply to your offers. And sometimes if you wait and a guy really wants it, he might retract his offer and then come back at a higher offer because he can't wait on you to respond. I've had that happen a lot of time. Quite often. But as you can see, these old vices like this, this is the kind of stuff that, would you buy this if you saw it?
Oh yeah.
$20.
I got one. Oh, I don't think you guys can see it. I've got one right there. See it on the corner?
Oh yeah. That's for sale?
Right there. No, that's bolted to my bench.
Okay. Do you use it a lot?
For sale.
No.
I'd say frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Different household projects, stuff like that. Nothing for reselling, but they're great. I mean, it probably weighs 50 pounds.
Yeah. I feel like every one I buy at a yard sale is a deal, and it's like, gosh, it's hard not to take the money versus want to keep it for personal. I'd have to almost find one that had no resale value, but still worked, like a Harbor Freight. I don't know.
Yeah.
Harbor Freight, we talked about that last week.
Yep.
The quality of the products, but I have to sell this one. I got to get my money back from this morning. One other thing that I bought this morning, I wanted to ask you a question about this. I bought this toaster and I shined it up.
Nice.
It's in my drafts right now, so I can't really flip through the photos, but I forget what the brand is. Manning Bowman toaster.
Bowman, yeah.
And it had a lot of surface rust on it, and I had some stainless steel cleaner in my warehouse, and I shined that thing up, and it just looks beautiful.
Wow.
And I brought it home. I wanted to test it out on some bread, and I put a piece of bread in there, and the bread popped up. But let me tell you, this thing was hot to touch. Like it has, I don't know if the insulation on the sides, if it ever had any, actually. That's probably why they were stainless steel.
Right.
Would you hesitate to sell something like that if that thing got super hot? Like after I unplugged it, and 5 minutes later, I still couldn't touch the sides.
So I'm looking at the plug, and I can tell that it's old.
That's a new plug. Yeah, I mean not new. It's an after. Yeah, they replaced it for sure. But
I don't know.
It's still, I mean, it doesn't have. It's not faulty. I think that that's the way they are. Like if somebody had a house fire, what would happen? Could they come back on me?
I don't know, because eBay is not. You would sue the person that has the most money, eBay, and then you'd be in there too because you were the seller. That's when your small business insurance would be something that you would really want. But I mean, how far do you go with that? Like, I sell knives. Somebody gets cut, and they're gonna sue. Sue. I sell a baseball bat, and some little kid gets hurt by. I don't know. I never really actually thought about it, and I sell a ton of potentially, I guess, dangerous items.
Well, if you sell a knife and someone cuts himself, that's user error. But if I sell them, I mean, I could put maybe in the description that buy at your own risk. These toasters get really warm on the sides. Yeah. Like I wouldn't want anything touching the sides. And I'm like, if you put a piece of bread in there and it doesn't pop up and it just keeps heating it and you got a fire. So I don't know. Yeah. So I looked up this model of toaster, and one has sold in the last 3 years, none listed. And the one that sold was $30 plus shipping, plus $10 shipping. So, man,
might
it looks
not
so
even-
nice. It looks so
Yeah.
nice. It's so clean. I've always wanted a vintage toaster because I know that some sell for $70 or $80.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they all get hot. Put in the comments if you've ever sold a toaster or you have a vintage toaster, does it really get hot on the sides, and is that something to worry about? Or do you just, as long as the person's aware, like, don't put the piece of toast in and walk away for 10 minutes, which I would never do anyhow, right? When you're,
No.
because yeah. And the toast popped up, but I'm like, if it doesn't pop up and it just keeps frying that piece of toast, like, there's no like safety mechanism. There's no circuit breaker on the plug
No.
or anything like that. So I don't know.
I mean, I guess that goes for every piece of electronic equipment that we sell.
Yeah.
It got hot for some reason. The capacitor, capacitor blew. Something happened and it started a fire.
Mm-hmm.
An
Yeah.
amplifier, a receiver, toaster, whatever. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. You guys,
So-
when you sell stuff like that, do you get worried that you're going to get sued, or do you take any precautions with insurance or anything like that? Let us know.
Yeah, I'd like to know what eBay's policy is. Moving on to viewer mail. Share a viewer comment from this last week. And we had a few comments. I'll just read one of them. It's from Aaron B. I don't know who Aaron B is, but first time I think they've commented on one of my videos, or our videos. They said, how do you like to ship your golf clubs? And that's in response to last week, Caleb was talking about he loves to sell golf clubs and they're easy to ship. So, I mean, a lot of podcasts have covered this, but just go out and buy yourself about 20 of the 48-inch by 4x4 boxes. And that should cover about 90% of the golf clubs that you're going to sell. Now, there might be like a big Bertha driver that's, I mean, the length should be covered, but sometimes
Yeah,
there's
it's
a
just
really big head on a driver that might be a little bit too big for the box. What would you do in that
Yeah.
case, Dennis? If it
I've
fit?
done some absolute horrendous packaging for golf clubs. I took what is it? What are those ones? 8, 6, 4,
Okay.
and married that into the end of the long one. So it went down and then just went like that.
That's pretty funny. So
I've done that.
Yeah, and just put when you put your dimensions in, you would put 48 by whatever the biggest. Yeah, you wouldn't put 4x4.
Right.
And it got there okay, I guess, right?
Yeah, it was fine.
That's pretty creative, actually.
What else? Way back in the day when I was just starting, this was horrible. Do not do this. I got some bad feedback for it. Took one of those priority boxes, the what are those, 8 by 8 by 8, the square cube ones.
Okay, yeah.
And I put a big giant tailor-made driver head in that. Kind of folded it up and taped it up and had the stick, the handle, the shaft just hanging out. I just took a pool noodle and just rammed a pool noodle down, taped it up, sent it out. They were appalled. They were like, the worst did it get there safely? It did, but they were pissed. They're like, never again. So now what do? I actually just make my own boxes. I have so much cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
I take a flat piece and make 3 big cuts in it, and then I fold it up into a 5-inch by 5-inch. And that's, unless it's a drive or an iron, then I'll do 4x4. And then I just tape it up.
So you make all your own boxes. You don't have any pre-made boxes, 48s
No,
by 4x4s.
I make them. That's it. I'm just used to doing that. But
I've made some in the past, and I make them a triangle, like 4x4x4 triangles.
I've done that too. That's great.
Which are they're stronger than a square, actually.
Mm-hmm.
They won't get bent nearly as easy.
Yep.
Then it's like I just keep rolling the cardboard and until it's gone. Yeah. All right. Well, that's what we do. Aaron, thanks for your comment. Let's move on to a little segment to get to know us a little bit better. It's called 2 Truths and a Lie. Each one of us shares 3 things about ourselves. Only 2 are true, and we have to guess which one is the lie. You want to go first?
Sure. And again, I thought of this all week because I'm on a roll now. All right, here we go. 2 truths and a lie. I have owned a 1970 Camaro. I'm allergic to seafood, and my house has a hot tub.
I'm going to say the hot tub is true. The Camaro, what was the second one?
Allergic to seafood. I owned a 1970 Camaro, and my house has a hot tub.
You live by the ocean. If you were allergic to seafood, that'd be a rough life. So I'm going to say that's true. I'm going to say you've never owned a 1970 Camaro.
Nope, I have. That was my car throughout high school and college.
Nice.
The lie is I'm allergic to seafood. I'm not. That was my first car, a 1970 Camaro Rally Sport. And I drove that through high school into college. It lasted 3 kids, and I finally sold it probably 10 years ago. Yeah. And I hate talking about it. I loved that car.
Oh man,
but
I would have too.
I don't have a garage, so I just sat out in the New England weather, and I'm just like, I cannot sit there and watch that thing rot away into the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
But I had the split bumpers, which is the Rally Sport, and we put a new engine in it. It was white, that cool 1970 like electric blue interior.
Oh yeah,
and it was awesome. Thing was great. Loved that car. Yeah. All right, what do you got for me?
All right,
I'm ready.
Number 1, I have owned 4 different motorcycles in my life. Number 2, I have had backstage passes to a Lenny Kravitz concert. And number 3, I got 2 speeding tickets in the same month.
The lie is that you got 2 speeding tickets in the same month.
Nope. The lie is I have owned 4 different motorcycles. I've never owned a motorcycle my whole life.
Really?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think I would love them if I ever had one. I just never.
You kind of look like a guy that would ride like an old, like a 70s era, like Yamaha, or 70s era Honda, something cool like that.
Yeah. I'm not that cool. Nope.
Never owned one.
Nope. But
wow.
My 2 speeding tickets, it was when I was 21 years old, and I haven't got a speeding ticket since then. So yeah, and I had a friend who was Lenny Kravitz sound man for 5 years. So he got me backstage passes to Lenny Kravitz. That was it was pretty neat. I wasn't allowed to talk to him, but I was able to.
Nothing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's kind of a superstar. So he came up the stairs right beside me, and I just stood there. And then there was a guy walking backwards with a video camera, recording him coming up the stairs, and another guy behind him recording him walking from behind up the stairs. And they documented like the whole concert. And but it was fun listening to him talk to the sound men and talk to the band members. You would never hear that on stage. So
that's pretty cool.
Got to go on the bus. I thought I was going on his bus, but then there was 3 buses, and my friend's like, nope, this bus is for the crew. It was kind of neat though. I mean, just seeing Lenny Kravitz, and he's good. He's friends with my friend. Ooh, I forgot about that connection to Kevin Bacon. So yeah, when my friend got married, he invited Lenny to his wedding, but Lenny could not make it. So
I hope he sent him something nice.
He probably did. My other speeding ticket was coasting down the Mackinac Bridge in Michigan at 4:00 in the morning. It's 45 mile an hour. And when you're coasting downhill, you pick up speed. And I don't know.
And they got you for that.
Yep.
Wow.
I told there was a lady cop, and I said, ma'am, you wouldn't believe this, but we are 3 hours early for our vacation. We can't even check into our room. I have been driving on the speed limit the entire trip. My van was I had a van that the cruise control would kick off sometimes when it was going uphill. So when I was going up the Mackinac Bridge, it kicked off. So I'm driving with my foot, not even thinking about it. I had no one to pace myself with. I was the only person. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to give you a speeding ticket for 5 mile an hour over the speed limit. But if you don't shut your mouth, I'll write it for the full amount.
Damn. Not happy.
Not in the mood. I was out of state, not in the mood to.
Yeah. Nope.
Listen to my.
You're not going to win.
It was a truth. I did not win that one. Then I felt even worse for even trying to. If you have to explain to a cop, you're already losing. I never. Did anyone ever talk their way out of a speeding ticket with you?
One time.
They cried their way out of it? Okay.
Nope. I don't do sob stories. And that holds true for my business now. When someone's, you know, like, oh, I'm having some hard times. Would you accept $3? I don't do sob stories. And I did not do sob stories as a police officer either. I don't do the, oh, everybody else is going the same speed, all that stuff. I have a real snarky response to that one. Like, well, everyone's going the same speed. You know, how come you caught me, or how can you stop me? I'm like, sir, have you ever gone fishing? Yeah, of course. Great. Have you ever caught anything? Yes. Have you ever caught everything? He's like, all right, I get it.
That's pretty
but
good.
The one excuse, I didn't do the bathroom thing. I'm like, dude, you passed like 6 gas stations. Like, come on. You could have gone in there to go to the bathroom at any time. We're not doing that. We're not doing crying. We're not doing the, you know, my dog died, anything like that. This one, I was at a moral dilemma because I already wrote like 15 tickets prior to this. And this guy said, I'm sorry, sir. I was lost in prayer. Like, oh. Okay.
I remember that one. Okay.
All right. And I let him go. Because what am I going to do? I'm going to write him. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it.
You should have said, did the Lord tell you that you were going a little bit too fast? Maybe you should have slowed down.
I just said, look, if you were that lost in prayer and, you know, just please slow it down. You know, hopefully you're being honest, because that's, you know, that's on him. If he's lying about that and using that excuse, that's on him. So I said, all right, that was it. Goodbye.
That's
only time.
Yeah. No, I took my son out for his 13th birthday, and the car was full of his friends. We went to an Urban Air. It's like a trampoline park with indoor go-karts and everything. And on the way there, the kid sitting in the front seat was like, there was 3 kids in the back seat of my car, and they were all talking. And the kid up front wasn't talking much. And one of the kids in the back goes, hey, you know, are you still up there? You know, just kind of like, you know, and he's like, sorry, man, I zoned out for like 10 minutes. And the kid in the backseat goes, well, I've only been on the road 5 minutes. And he goes, yeah, but when you zone out, you lose track of time. And it was like, it's like he was ready for the response. I mean, I think he worded it just a little different and funnier than what I might cut this all out. I'm not that, but it was funny to me. And I looked at him and I'm like, that's a good response.
Yeah. That makes
you wouldn't
sense.
know how much times went by because you were zoned out.
Right.
All right, moving on to home runs and strikeouts. Your best and your worst sales of the week. What do you have for us, Dennis?
So my home run, and I'm going to cheat, is also my bolo. I'll separate them, but it's the same thing. And let me add this here. This was at what did I pay? Yard sale? This was like probably a month ago. Finally dug it out. Finally had to, you know, you got to set it all up, take pictures of all the pieces, all the tokens, the cards. It's a Monopoly board, obviously. You guys can see the picture here. And normally I stay away from these types of things, an opened, used Monopoly board. But this is an anthropology edition. It is absolutely enormous. It's huge. And if you look, let's see. Like this one here, it has wooden sides to it. It's really, really nice. The thing is absolutely gorgeous. Wooden centerpiece here, all special money, special gold tokens. You know, the cards are all very customized. You can see what they look like here. But these things, I couldn't believe it. Mine sold for $169. Yeah.
The entire game, or just the board?
The whole game.
Oh, the board. Okay.
No, I sold the entire game. Here's one brand new that sold for $225 plus $30 shipping. Here's another one, $200 for a new one. But yeah, if you ever see one of these, it has a very floral blue and pink and like tan color box, just like this. If you ever see one of these, definitely pick it up. I mean, you could part out some of the pieces and still make money. But yeah, Anthropology edition. They're calling it a Derby edition. Anthropology Derby edition.
Okay.
I have no idea what it is, but you know, they are they're worth some good money.
Where did you find it?
This was at a yard sale. And,
remember what you paid? Did you say what you paid?
$5. $5. So what I did was I looked it up real quick, and I'm like, what? There's no way. And it was in a pile of other board games, and I just said, hey, how much are your games? And she's like, $5. Okay. And this thing's huge, like this. You're carrying it like that. I think it measured so it's almost 30 inches across, like 30 by 30.
Yeah, that takes a special box.
I just so happened to have one. It was longer, so I just cut the top off, but the thing slid right into the. I won't do that again. I mean, it was amazing. But yeah, that was wild. So that kind of kickstarted the weekend into some better sales. I needed that sale bad. You know, when you're selling the little $10, $15 items, and then bam, you get the $170 hit.
Yep.
So that was my home run. I already talked about my strikeout, which was last week's yard sales on Saturday. It rained. There was nothing going on. I wasted, an hour, and just dumb stuff. It was just, that makes me so mad because it didn't rain all week. And then all of a sudden I see it starting to change. Oh, we're going to get rain on Friday night. Oh, it's going to get into Saturday morning. And then the rain stopped, but it was just this misting, like wet mist just blowing through. And people are like, you can't even stand out here. You'll just get soaked.
Yeah. Because you were saying there's not a lot of garages. You don't have a lot of garages in your houses.
Nope.
Yeah.
Everybody sets up in the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think of if I did even buy anything. Some fishing tackle. They were in those nice little Bass Pro cases.
Yeah.
And there was like 4 of them stacked up on a table. And they were filled with all like crankbaits and the little gold ones that spin as you
spinner baits or
spinnerbait.
Maybe.
And there's what do I have? They're over there somewhere. There's 4 boxes. And I said, hey, how much are your lures? And she goes, $1 each. And I'm like, $1 a piece, man. So I'm looking in there. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll pick out a couple. And she goes, oh, well, how many? How many did you want? I'm like, I don't know, how much for all of them? And she goes, well, and she starts counting the boxes, and she's like, well, that's 5 boxes, so that's $5. I'm like, oh, it's $1 a box. And she goes, yeah. Like, oh, okay. I thought it was $1 each individual lure. I'm like, well, yeah, I'll take them all. And she goes, yeah, right, $5.
Gosh.
I was like,
that's
wow,
crazy.
that's so yeah, I got probably, I don't know, 50 different lures in there for $5.
Like Rapalas?
So
any Rapalas? Ones. Yeah. Because those Rapalas
mostly small. Yeah. Have the like lead heads. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then there's actual
jigs.
lures and then there's like the gold and chrome ones. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
I think that one's a Rapala.
Yeah.
This
that
guy
one.
here.
Yeah.
But they're all full.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know more? I think you know more than me about these things.
I don't buy a lot of new ones. Most of my inventory comes from yard sales, but I know some Rapalas are costing $20 to $25 brand new now. Well, my home run this week was something that I picked up in that storage locker that I bought last month. There was a touchscreen control panel, a couple of them in there that I found. So I'll bring it up here on my screen. It's a touchscreen, so it's just a regular computer monitor, but it also has a USB cord in the back, and when you plug that in, then it allows you to touch the screen and move the cursor around.
Cool.
So I just hooked it up to a computer, but it goes to I think it's a KIP 7170. I think it's like a large printer device, and this is like a monitor that bolts up to it. And I sold it for $179. Got my full asking price. And
wow.
Yeah, I don't know what it's kind of. There's the back. So it's got a bunch of plastic brackets that connected to the printer. And the printer is like a $10,000 printer copier, I think. If I'm wrong on that, someone can correct me, I'm sure. A KIP 7170, but I did a lot of research trying to figure out what this went to. The brand's Lightmax. So there's my second sale. I had a PlayStation 3 I sold for $80. Now I sold this monitor for 179.
Nice.
And I still have my digital shredder to list and sell yet. I'm still kind of holding out. I can
that's
figure
right.
out how to hack it. Let me get
Yep,
off
I
this
remember.
before get it.
I remember you saying that.
So that was my home run, my biggest sale of the week, which was a nice little surprise. Unless I sell that Vice today, maybe I can get 179 for that yet. And my strikeout were these little action figures. Now, some people love to sell this kind of stuff. I don't even remember where I got these. They were just in a lot of a bunch, like an estate sale, I think. I think I took an offer of $8. I had these listed on eBay for easily a year and a half, maybe 2 years,
Wow.
maybe 2 years. I remember listing them before I quit my job, and I've been full time now, almost 2 years next month. So, I was just happy to take anything for them and just get them moving on. I don't know if any of them were
Power
valuable
Rangers.
or not. Okay. I don't know if they were originals.
This next one, that guy. That's the
Okay.
Shadow. I've had him in my store
Okay.
probably a year and a half.
I wasn't even going to part them out. I was just lotting them all up.
Yeah.
I wonder who that is. Well,
Yeah,
that's
so
Robin.
Batman, Robin. Yeah.
He looks possessed.
That's Robin as somebody else. I'm not a big DC comic guy.
Okay. And
Those
that's a
are
Power Ranger, I
Rangers.
believe.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I don't really know the vintage toy market very well. And I think I bought these thinking maybe I could get $30 for the lot, but I just kept lowering the price and had them listed at $14. They sent me an offer, I think $8 or $9. And I'm like, I'm no way I'm counter offering. Take the money and run.
Take it. Yep. Take it and go.
Yeah. That brings us to the next segment, BOLOs and NOLOs. One thing to be looking for and one thing that you wouldn't buy again. Denis, amaze us with your knowledge.
Well, my BOLO is that Monopoly game, Anthropology Derby Edition. We spoke with that. I got it for $5, sold it for 170. And my NOLO is going to be, I don't know, people are going to either love this or hate this. This has been in my store for 2 years. It's got to be 2 years. I'm going to stay away from limited edition Oreos. Some people are like, oh, no way, man. We go as soon as that thing gets to, the Super Mario ones, the so-and-so, we go out and we buy a whole bunch and we sell them. If you're one of the first people, sure, you will probably make some money on these. And then everybody else starts flooding that market. Mm-hmm. And they're listing them for almost the same price you could buy them in the supermarket. So it's a very short window. That's the same with all of these other drinks and all the,
the
sports
prime drinks. Yeah.
Yeah. Like those, my kids were going from store to store trying to find those. And now they're on clearance and they're on sale everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to see what the date was on this thing. I know I've had this for so long. To the point where you'd probably have to throw these away because they're well expired. But I do have a clip of other ones here, and you're going to see some of the prices, and you're going to like, oh well, heck yeah, I'll buy those and flip them for that price. But you have to realize that the sell-through rate on this is probably not very good at all.
Yeah.
Like here you go. The Space Dunk one sold for $7. I don't get that. It's probably the same in the store. What is a package of Oreos now?
I never buy them.
We don't buy. We just don't bring them in the house because they're terrible.
So you bought that one to resell?
Just to sell. Yes.
Yeah. Is it local or what? What was so special about it?
This is Lady Gaga. I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is a Lady Gaga edition Oreo. That's the pink packaging. You got her name right here and then green filling for some reason. But look at these ones here. This is a limited edition Star Wars one, 2 packages, and they have to put it says in hand. So they're not like drop shipping. That means like the person actually has these.
Oh,
Some people
that
will
you
list
have-
things for sale that they haven't
Mhm.
been released yet,
okay.
like a pre-order.
Yeah.
These ones here, the person has it. And then this one blows my mind. Pokemon Oreos. A set of all 16 rare. So I think it's individual cookies.
Yeah.
This is why I stay
Sure.
away from this. I just stay away from it. Here's another Mario, brand new, sealed Mario for $50. I don't get it. Hey, look, there's my Lady Gaga, $8. That's a sold
So-
one. Mine is still not sold.
Yeah. No. So someone's bought. They're never going to eat these. They're just going to. Aren't they going to go?
Oh yeah,
Moldy?
they'll go bad. You know what? I highly doubt with the amount of preservatives and absolute artificial garbage in these will probably look the same 10 years from now.
Okay. Wouldn't there be
So,
value
yeah.
of just taking the cookies out and flattening the pack, selling the wrapper?
No, they want it with everything in it, just like the Wheaties box with somebody on the Wheaties box. You just leave the whole thing as is. Yeah, these have to be getting ready to be dumped. This is just, I can't find the date on it. Oh, there it is. August. This is when it was stale by August 12th, 2021. 2021.
See, when I
Yikes.
have stale potato chips, just put them in the oven for about 5 minutes, and so, or no,
Really?
If you have stale chips like nacho chips, put them in the oven and on a pan for I don't know how long, but
Eesh.
it'll make
don't
them
know.
crispy again.
I don't eat a lot of junk,
So
so
yeah.
I wouldn't know anything about Oreos other
Mhm.
than I wanted to sell these. I think originally I had them on there for $25, and then 20, 15, 10. I don't even know if they're in the store anymore. I really don't. I should probably
not.
check. But yeah, just be cautious. That's I guess what I'm saying. I'm not going to buy these things anymore. The limited edition foods and drinks. I tried it with Crystal Pepsi. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
And they were making the clear Pepsi. I
Mhm.
tried that. I bought a whole bunch of those and I sold like 2, and then I had like 6 left over. And then by that time, market floods. Everyone has them. Everyone's selling them. I guess you could just do the long-tailed waiting game, but
Yeah.
no one wants them. And then they expire, and then no one wants them.
Yeah.
So
This reminds me of when I first got into reselling. I kept a lot of things from my youth. Reese's peanut butter cups had a contest in the wrappers. So when you would buy the candy bar back in the 1980s, you'd open it up and there'd be like a game piece or 2 pieces and a picture of 2 items inside. If they matched, you won that item. And one of the prizes was like a 13-inch color television, a CRT television. I mean,
Cool.
now it's like $1 at
Yeah.
yard sale, but and then there was like free candy bars. So I used to buy one every day at lunch for like 15 cents, or I don't remember. I think that's what it was. And then I would take the wrapper and carefully open up the candy bar so I didn't rip the wrapper. And then I would press them flat in one of my textbooks at school and then take them home. I had
Cool.
a stack of candy bar wrappers, like, I don't know, a centimeter thick. And so when I started reselling during the pandemic to try to make money, I started selling off those wrappers two at a time. And I was getting like $24 for 2 wrappers. And if it was a free candy bar, it was worth more than just a random prize. But it was kind of fun looking at what the prices were back then. So I just put them in like an envelope, like an 8 by I don't know, 8 by a half a letter size envelope.
Yeah.
So whatever that size is. And I was mailing them. Well, I had 4 left, and I sold 2 to a guy, mailed them to him, and he sent me a picture. He's like, this is how they arrived. The envelope was cut right down the middle. It ruined both wrappers. I'm like, how does that happen? Like it was legit. He was a collector and he was very upset. And he showed me the wrappers. So somebody somehow the post office ripped it, but it wasn't like a rip. It was a straight tear. Like it was cut, like somebody was cutting with a knife and along the line of the post office and didn't realize it was there. And I'm like,
Wow.
tell you what, I'll send you my last 2 wrappers as a replacement. And then he was happy.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I just lost like $25 because of the post office. I mean, I put a stamp on it. I don't even think I had a tracking on it.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
It was like real early. So I'm like, I'm just going to
Yeah.
put a stamp on it and mail it as a regular letter because it's so light. But I'd put it in a bubble mailer now and wrap it in cardboard and everything else.
Yep. Definitely cardboard.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
those were all from my childhood. But I also, do you remember when New Coke came out?
Mm-hmm.
It was before they called it Coke Classic. It was just regular Coke. And then they had a New Coke, but they were still making the old Coke. So they had to differentiate it by calling it Coca-Cola Classic and New Coke. When New Coke first came out, I bought a 12-pack and I drank 11 of the cans and I kept 1 can full, but I kept all the cans in the original cardboard box. And so when I started reselling, I'm like, I'm just going to pull that out of my storage container over here, a storage bin, and sell that. I think I sold it for like $30. 1 can. Like those cans are rare. Go out and see how many New Coke cans you can find.
Yeah.
Especially
because people hated it. People hated New Coke.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I kept it. Like that was the kind of dumb things I collected. Things that had no collectible value at the time of purchase.
Right.
So
wow.
Anyhow, I should probably get on to my Bolo and Nolo. So my Bolo is, and I was torn between this and something else, but I'm going with this today. This is these are bowling balls, and they're 5 inches. They're like 15 inches in diameter. That means around, right? Yeah, 5 inches across. They each one weighs 3 pounds 9 ounces. They're called candle pin bowling balls, and they have another name too. I forget what the other name is. But they come in one bag. I bought these. I'm gonna say at an estate sale. They might have just got thrown into a lot of things I was buying, and they have sat in my warehouse for 6 months. I pulled these out like Wednesday out of storage and listed them and had to figure out what they were and what they were called. And I put them up for $70.70 because I only found 1 sold comp of 2 of these in a bag, and it was $70. So I listed them for $70, and I started getting offers, $40, $50, $60. So I emailed the people that were, and the other 2 people, and I'm like, hey, I've got an offer for $60 already. And I sent them back a counter offer at 70, even though I'm asking 70 for it. And then somebody counter offered at 65. So I sold them in one day. So have you ever seen these bowling balls before?
Those are extremely popular in this area.
Yeah.
We don't do 10 pin. 10 pin is the ones with the holes in it.
Yeah. Right.
This is candle pin. So I'd say they're bigger than a softball, and it's to be held in one hand, like the palm of your hand. This is what I grew up playing, candle pin. That's what I thought bowling was. Are
they special bowling alleys then, and smaller pins and everything?
It's all special, definitely special pins. They're not, they don't look like the bowling ball or the bowling pins. They're just almost like straight up and down. There's no like part of it, and they just stand straight up like that. Very, very popular here in the Northeast. It's what I grew up at. Every birthday party, we'd go to the bowling alley. Everyone would smell like Marlboro cigarettes at the end of the day, and we'd all bowl candle pin. That's it.
So you might find these from time to time, but it's not. We don't have any bowling alleys that I'm aware of that have this. So for me to find this, I don't know. They must have moved from out of the area. But I will definitely be looking for these in the future because
that's good
in the pair. And if you have the bag, maybe it's because I had the bag too. It helped. But
no, someone will definitely be bringing those to a league that they belong to a league, and they'll show off their vintage bag, and then they'll have their own bowling balls, and that's exactly. Someone's going to use these, absolutely.
And it's important to put the exact pounds and ounces. That was important to the guy, and the circumference, which was 15 15 3/4, which means it's a 5-inch ball. So I guess there's only two sizes. There's a 5-inch, and then there's like a 4 3/4 or something.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was my.
The bag looks like it's in great shape.
It was. There was no rips or tears.
Wow.
No fraying either. So that's my Bolo, and my Nolo is, I don't have a prop, but is cordless telephones, wireless telephones. I'm kind of moving away from them. I usually pick them up if I can find them for like $1, but almost all, I don't know if we've talked about these before, but so yeah, I'm going off of cell phones now, or cordless, not cell phones, cordless phones for homes. Most of the time the batteries don't have any memory left in them. There's only two types of batteries. There's a specific battery that goes to a cell phone, and then some of them will have like rechargeable AAA batteries in them that you can buy at Amazon or anywhere. Like they're generic. I mean, anywhere you can buy rechargeable batteries. I tend to lean towards those because you can buy the batteries in quantities, and they're not a specialty battery. You don't have to worry about buying the wrong ones. But I'm just seeing the prices on these. The market's being more and more flooded as less people buy these. And the only way to sell them is you got to be cheaper than everybody else. And then you got to test them, which I have a landline in my house hooked up. Well, I mean, I have a device hooked up to my wireless router that you can plug a wired phone into. When we were fostering, you had to have a landline in your house. They wouldn't. I don't know, for safety purposes, and I've just always kept it. It's like $5 a month is what I pay. But if there's ever a 911 emergency, then it's hooked into the 911 system. If my wife and I would be gone, and my son would have to make a phone call. But so I'll test them. But by the time you hook them all up, plug them all in, test the batteries, call each individual phone to make sure the speakers and the microphones are working in each phone, you've got 10 to 15 minutes in them. And you might even, and if you bought them for $1, even if they were free, maybe you're getting, unless they're brand new in the box, you're getting $15, $20 max.
Yeah, I agree.
And then they have to buy batteries when they get them too. So
yeah,
I'm just staying away from a lot of the cordless phones now. It's kind of, I'll be real selective. It's got to have a decent sell-through rate, and not many of them do anymore.
No, I've noticed the exact same thing you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I used to pick them up pretty often. You'd get the real nice base, with one, and then you get like two of the satellite ones. Mm-hmm. And then I'm noticing like, oh wow, I'm not getting the $30 for these anymore. It's like 20, now it's like 15. And the prices are just tanking. Mm-hmm. I probably would only do it if it was brand new, sealed in a box.
Yep.
And the price was right. The used ones that I have to clean, and like you said, test, I'm not doing it. I'm not picking them up because I know it's just, there's no money left in it.
Some of the numbers are rubbed off on probably one of the handsets that was used the most. There's maybe a little earwax in the earpiece,
Yep.
Kind of gross. Nope. Yep.
Stay away from them.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the next segment, we'll do customer service. We're going to talk about an interesting customer interaction from the last week. Do you have a customer service?
I have a customer service trend that I've seen this past week I have no idea why, but I've been getting, again, tons of lowball offers on, I don't know, things with free shipping. And this guy comes in, hey, could you do $4? And I'm like, yeah, the shipping alone for that's a piece of media is over $4. I said, I can't take a loss. And so I just declined it. I've gotten a ton of right away, 50% off, like right off the top. And I already offer a coupon. I offer a coupon on almost everything I have.
Do they work?
And they're like, yeah, it really does work. The metrics show that people have to punch in a code and then they'll get their 15% off.
Really?
And so I don't really run sales a lot. I know we're kind of going off here, but I love the coupon because it bumps it up in the metrics in the listing, and some people don't see it, and some people don't use it. But if you have that coupon on there, I believe your listings are bumped up more. I can't prove that, but it helps a lot. And lastly, I've been getting a bunch of people messaging me saying, "Hey, I want to buy this, but I don't want to pay shipping." I'm like, what? Well, I mean, I'll give you a couple of bucks off of the item, but it's, I don't do a ton of free shipping. I just don't do it. I do the calculated shipping because I'm so far east in the country. If I'm shipping stuff to California, I can get killed in shipping. Absolutely killed. So
Are you passing your discount on to the customers? Your eBay discount? You're not? And you're still getting killed? Well, if you did free shipping. If you did.
Oh yeah, I don't do very limited free shipping for me. If there's a ton of competition with an item, then I might do free shipping. But normally I just do calculated based on weight and dimensions. That's it. Like I don't make any money on shipping other than the eBay store coupon, eBay store discount that I get. And I keep that. That's mine. That goes to,
that could be $10 or $15 sometimes on a big item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I pay $27 a month for having a store. So it's just how I run it. People, when you buy that thing, you agree to the price and the shipping.
Sure.
That's it. Everything else after that. Yeah.
I just find it too hard to figure out when someone wants a discount, then I'm like, well, how much money am I going to make on shipping? Like, I don't know where they live. I don't know if it's going to overcharge them $1 or overcharge them $6.
You saying when you're sending them an offer, or
if somebody asks me if I can come down on shipping cost a little bit, or if I can maybe knock a few bucks off, or they send me an offer that's lower.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I know what I paid for the item and I know what I'm making, but if you're making money on the shipping too, I try to factor that into my head, and it's too hard to do because, so what I do is pass along my discount, and then I add a handling charge of like $2.
Ah, okay.
It's $1 if it's a pound or under. It's $2 if it's over a pound. And
okay,
then that way I know at least my box and my tape and my packing supplies are usually covered with that. And I know there's pros and cons to doing both, but when it comes to negotiating a price, I don't have to think to myself, well, how much money would I be making on shipping? Can I,
Yeah, I don't even factor that in, I guess. They never get my discount. That discount is for me.
Yeah.
And then when I say, when I do an end sell similar, I do that daily. I usually take $1 off. That's it.
Okay.
And then redo it. And then someone comes in and says, "Oh, that's that $50 item. Would you do 30?" And I gotta be like, "Oh, well, how much?" I found that for free. Yeah, I might do that.
Yeah.
Or I might, or if there's a bunch of watchers, then I'll be like, well, I can't do that, but I can do this, and I'll counter offer. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, we're both kind of doing the same thing, but different way. That discount that eBay gives me for having a store and giving me a discount on shipping, that pays for my bubble wrap and, I'm poly mailers and all that type of stuff. So, I'm not really willing to give that up. I think I've earned that. I think I pay for that when I pay, my monthly store fee of it's like $27 now, or almost $28.
All right. Well, my customer service is, a few weeks ago, I think I shared that I had sold these little storage bins made out of cloth. They were brand new, and when the person received them, they said one was stained and dirty and the zippers didn't work. And we talked about how to loosen the zippers, like you said, use vinegar or something, white vinegar. And so I'm like, you know what? I need to get this person. They asked for like, how about you knock $12 off? And I said, okay, I'll knock $12 off. So I went out and I started searching my store to try to find where I sold them. And I'm like, well, it's not showing up as a sold item. And I'm looking in my store and I'm like, I have 3 of them. And it shows I have 3 in my store. I'm like, this little sucker, they're just making this up. Like they didn't buy anything from me.
Wow.
They They were just trying to get me to refund them $12. And they said, can you put it back on my Discover card at the time? And I'm like, no, I said, I don't know. I just refund money and it goes right back. If your Discover card was used to buy the product on eBay, it'll go back on the card. I think that's how it works. That's all I said to them. So they were trying to bait me into me putting $12 on their credit card. But I'm like, $12? You're really going to commit fraud for $12?
Yeah.
So,
How would you do that though? How would you actually?
No idea. I don't know what they were thinking. I think they were. Why would they want to give me their Discover card to begin with?
Yeah, I don't get that. So they never bought anything from you.
Never.
But they saw something that's in your store.
And they pretended like they bought it.
Pretended they bought that, and then something was wrong with it, and then they wanted you to refund it.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy.
It's stupid, but
even if you wanted to refund them, how would you do that? They didn't purchase anything.
So they give me their credit card, and I put. They probably had something in waiting, somehow, like a PayPal account or a Venmo account or something.
That's exactly what they would say.
Okay.
Can you just Venmo me it or something like that?
Yeah.
And they're probably sending this message out to 100 people.
Yeah. Just picking an item in the store.
And then pick a low dollar amount, right? So you're like, oh, it's $12. Yep. Sorry for the inconvenience. Here you go. Here's your $12 back.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wild.
And then last week I talked about, I sold that Harman Kardon speaker, that Bluetooth speaker for like $130, and the battery was dead. And you said people will still buy it if the battery's dead. And I said, okay, I'll list it again. I listed it and said dead battery was the first two words. And I still sold it for $60. So
awesome.
And it would sell between 50 and 60. So I feel like I got a good deal.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, even if you're just going to leave it plugged in,
right?
Leave it plugged in. It's not portable, but you said it sounds amazing.
It does. I was tempted to keep it. My wife, it's a little bit too big for the counter. Like my wife would want a smaller speaker. And I don't listen to music at home hardly ever. Just when I was at work maybe. But I have so many Bose speakers and everything else at work that we're getting ready to wrap up this podcast. But we have one last segment that we want to do. Time machine, where we travel back to a specific year. What would you buy in that year to resell today? And we do a different year each week. Dennis, what year do we go with this week, and what do you have?
I chose 2008, which seems like just a random date, right? But I remember this because back in the day, I bought this. This is the Millennium Falcon, the Legacy Collection from Star Wars. And I bought this for my son, who would be almost 4 at the time. I really bought it for me. But in any case, look at the prices of these new now. $500, $600. Here's one $700. Another one $700, $630, $530. I mean, it's wild. If you go to used, you can see that some people are making a lot of money selling individual parts, like the landing gear, just the landing gear pieces, $35. 2 little replacement missiles for $11. Just the little radar piece is almost $50.
Wow.
And like there's a bunch of pieces. You can pick your own piece. The little door to the side, $26 for that. The little escape pod that went in the side of the ship, $80. It's crazy. Little floor pieces. I mean, this is insane. So I'm definitely going to buy a bunch of these and leave them in the box, right? Because that's where your money is. But even if you wanted to open them up, you could sell parts. Just look at this. Just the cockpit cover, $89. It's absolutely wild. So
do you remember what it cost brand new, or do you remember what you paid for it?
It was roughly a little over $100.
Okay, so it's a 5 extra money, but it's still it's just
cool. And here's the figure too, $30 just for the figure that it came with. Chewbacca came with it too.
Okay.
But if you look on the back of one of these, let me get the picture. Look at this. The gun underneath, the quad cannon, $50 just for that little piece. Here you go. Little tiny chess piece that went on the board, $25.
No.
Anyway,
Wow.
it has lights, okay? The cockpit would light up. The little pieces here would shoot out the little missiles, and then the whole back piece would glow blue color. And it had sound effects. It had, taking off, landing, flying, the guns. If you shoot the guns, it'll make noise. I mean, this thing was the largest one produced by Hasbro. And it was, in my mind, it was the coolest one. I mean,
Wow.
the thing, it was enormous. So, yeah, 2008 Millennium Falcon, the Legacy Collection. If you find one and it's beat, or if it's not complete, or dude, pick this thing up because you can part it out and make some good money on just the pieces. So that's mine.
I went and looked at like what were the best toys of 2008, trying to come up with an idea, and what are all the events that happened in 2008? And this object was like the outdoor toy of the year. It is a
outdoor toy.
It's called a Razor Rip Stick caster board. Let me zoom in on one of these. That's what they look like.
Wow. Yep.
I guess they're electric. So some of these are like skateboards you wiggle back and forth on, but
yeah, that's the regular ripstick. Don't think I've seen this thing. Electric caster board.
That one I just showed you. It sold for $356. Let's bring some other. Wow. Here it is in the box. Well, that's just a normal one here, right? Not electric.
I think he's got the wrong.
Electric. This is electric. It is electric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it says electric.
The Rush.
Right here, electric caster board. Okay.
Yep. I see it now.
So yeah, these are selling for about $200. So I liked to skateboard when I was younger. This would probably, if I would have been younger at the time, this would probably been something I would have wanted as a child. I never would have got it because it would have been too expensive for my parents to buy. But yeah, looks like they're selling for between $150 to $300. So because it was Toy of the Year in 2008, Outdoor Toy of the Year, I thought they were kind of cool. I'd probably pick up a few of these. Yeah. There was one other item in 2008. Like I noticed that Bill Gates resigned from Microsoft in 2008. And I'm like, I wonder if there's any Microsoft products. And there's like Microsoft software, like Microsoft Server 2008 sells for thousands of dollars. But I'm like, I don't know what it sold for originally. It probably cost thousands of dollars originally. So I'm like, I wouldn't go back to 2008 to buy that software because I don't think I'd make any money. So I'm just sticking with the Rip Stick electric caster board by Razor.
Very cool. I don't think I've seen one of those. I've seen the regular one, the non-motorized one, but I don't think I've seen the electric one. That's really cool.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that brings us to the end of another successful episode of the Full-Time Flippers Reselling Podcast. Dennis, do you have any closing thoughts for us? Take us away with some words of knowledge.
Great to have you guys. Love the comments. Love the support. It is just, it's just a great time to share thoughts and knowledge. I mean, I'll speak for Chad. We learn stuff every single week, whether it's from viewers, whether it's from each other, whether it's from just the research we're doing for the show. And it really keeps you sharp to, know your craft and put some time into it. Especially if this is putting food on your table and a roof over your head, you better know your stuff and you better always be learning and branching out and researching. I don't know how many times I've looked at some things and researched some things, and then that following week I find it, or I know exactly what that is, and it has paid off tremendously. It still pays off, So that old cliche, never stop learning. Yeah, it's very true, especially when it comes to reselling and this business that we're in.
Yeah, no, we do learn from our viewers as well. Like if you let's ask that as a question. If you were to go back to the year 2008 to buy something, then what would you buy to sell today? So Yeah, someone give us some examples of other things that we don't even think of. Like, we can't even scratch the surface of all the things you could buy in 2008 to make money on.
Right. We just gave you 2 examples. So
Yeah.
I would like to see a couple more. Like what did we miss? You know, what's
Right.
a really crazy one from 08 that you would definitely go and get?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
yeah, let us know. I hope everybody has a
Yeah.
great week, and we will see you next time.
Yep. Like and subscribe, please, and tell a friend about our podcast. We want to grow this thing and build a community. So, yes, you have a good day, Dennis. We'll see you next Friday. Let's break them out.
All right.
Do they taste like Lady Gaga?
Oh my God, they smell amazing.
Oh my gosh.
They smell so fresh. Perfect. Oh,
I dare you to eat that. I dare you to eat that.
oh, it's falling apart.
Go,
Like,
go, 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 go. Peer pressure. Maybe get a couple beers in there.
whoa. This expired like 3 years ago.
Oh,
Whoa.
it wasn't green when it started.
Yeah, they're gonna go. Now I gotta make sure they're not in my store.
Yeah, they
What a
sell.
waste.
They just sell right there.
Oh my God, I'd be like, you gotta be kidding me. That would be, that'd be perfect.
I'm gonna
That
make you
would
have to
be
cancel it.
absolutely perfect.